Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to the channel. It's Friday, so that means one thing if you've been keeping up to date with the channel, which is the FS25 Friday update. All the news that I've had this week from FS25. I know a lot of creators have put it out as and when they've got it in smaller bite-sized kind of information, but I just wanted to, condense it all into one video for everyone that's following me and relying on me in a way for, bringing you the FS25 news. I'm not in a race. That's the thing. I'm not in a race, so I'm just going to give it you in a bit more of a here's an update from this week, and yeah, let's get through it. So we're going to go through a couple of blogs, we've got a couple of videos, a couple of things. We're just going to try and make it as short as possible, but also, giving all the information out. So last week we got a load of information about NPCs and stuff and what they're going to do. I actually said as well that it reminds me of Fallout, and I think I've been spot on with this. It does look a bit like Fallout, it's just obviously not many missions and quests and whatever you were going to call it are going to come from it. We are going to get contracts from them by talking to these characters on the base game maps, but it does open up a good thing, which is I think potentially modders can make their own version of this, and then you never know what can happen, but it's a nice starting point. But let's read through the blog and then we'll go from there. So Farming Simulator 25 features a small assemble of characters to talk to, NPCs. If you decide to talk to them, let's learn more about them and how they work, adding characters and guidance. We wanted to make the towns a bit more lively, so you can meet a handful of virtual people brought to life by real voice actors. Each character has their own personality and area of expertise. Because we were able to create the characters without drawing developer resources from other game features, we added them in as a side bonus. So that basically says that they've added them in, they've been designed themselves, and they've not taken away from what they were actually aiming for in FS25. They've done this as a side project. So, it's a bonus basically. It's not taken away from other things they wanted to do. To provide especially new virtual farmers some touching points in the form of guidance, they offer some advice and help for farming basics. So if you're new to the game, you can talk to these and they're going to give you a helping hand, which is good to see. If you want to know more about them, you can casually talk to them and see what spontaneously comes to their mind. Sometimes they might ask what you think. So I guess that's just, pointing to they're going to get random chat. They may also need a helping hand and offer you some contracts where there's something to be done in the neighborhood. So that's not bad. I like the idea of that. That's technically, something that means that we potentially could be getting, like random tasks and contracts and bits and bobs. So I don't mind that at all. So this is one of the characters we've seen. We are going to see a few new ones in this blog, which I thought was good because we learned about David and Grandpa, which is who we're seeing now, is Grandpa Walter. So as a traditional in farming, the farm is passed down from generations to generation. In this case, however, Grandpa Walter isn't passing the farm on to his son, who would normally be next in line. He wanted to explore another life away from the countryside. Walter will share some of his expertise and tell you more about the history of the farming of the family farm and send you to his trusted old friend and helper if you require assistance for modern agriculture. So basically what they're saying there is you're starting off, you get a farm, it's actually Walter's, it's handed down to you, and he's still there, basically just sitting on his rocking chair and just learning stuff. I don't know if we've learned yet if they're going to move around the map, but we have learned that they're going to be there, and there's a bit of a backstory, and they're going to talk to you. Now, I'll let you guys read through the actual example of what it's going to be like when they're talking. I don't kind of want to give that away. I want to experience it in-game, so I'm just going to not read through that myself, but if you want to pause the video, have a read through it. But let's go on to the next one. This is Helper Ben. I know it's cut off there. That's just because they send it through as a PDF, but it's called Helper Ben, and imagine this is the guy that knows more about modern farming. Having been a trusted friend of Walter's for more than 30 years, Ben can tell beginners more about farming basics, how to sow, harvest crop, operate machines for the various field working steps, and more. He's always near at the starting farm. And I will throw up pictures as we go so you can see this full screen. But what the basic gist of Helper Ben is, he's going to teach you how to farm. If you're new to the game, he's teach you the basics. And also maybe if there's something new been added into the game and you've been playing it before, but it's a new feature for FS25, he's going to give you a bit of helping advice there. So it's not a bad character to bring in. I think it makes it more interactive for new players. They don't have to kind of search, and they've got the information, they know where to go. It's just basically ask this guy, and if you want to learn how to what and like, for example, how to plow and when you should plow and things like that, this guy's going to be able to help you out. So we've also got Neighbor David. We've learned about David, who's a bit of a strange one, but we'll learn a bit more. I think they're trying to normalize him a bit more here. Neighbor David is not a farmer, but he tries to be. He's a beginner. He's made some mistakes on the way and will warn others not to repeat them. In return, you may tell him that it would be better for him to learn to operate in a bale instead of opening a hotel with wellness treatments, offering people to sleep on fresh hay, which he heard from others is a thing. So, yeah, a bit of a strange one, David is. Additionally, being from the city, he can explain his perspective on both city life and living in the country, and how he learned to really appreciate farming when he put his hands into the soil himself. So yeah, it's just a random character to chat to. And again, I'll put some pictures up and let you read through the actual dialogue if you wish to. And then we got animal farmer Katie. So after traveling the world, Katie came home and took over the animal farm from her family. She's a hands-on person and explains the basics of livestock farming. If you want to know more about her, she can share some personal stories and anecdotes from her travels. Most of her anecdotes include animals in some way, and some of her stories are just myth she collected here and there. She's not always serious. Really like this character. She's obviously going to know a lot about livestock, so she's going to teach her that side of it. So not the field work like Helper Ben. This is for that. We've also got Lumberjack Noah. So Noah is local forester and lumberjack. His main profession is taking care of the forest, making sure it's handled with respect. If needed, he can explain the forestry basics, but he prefers to talk more about wood carving, even though his well-crafted objects are usually not as practical as he thinks, and you're free to point out his flaws in his design. Since he also likes detective stories, he will pursue anyone who leaves an empty can of fizzy lemonade, blah, blah, blah. Prepare to get a preventative lesson on how to behave in the woods. So again, a random character. Basic gist of all this that I'm telling you now is you're going to get these random characters around the map. They do have dialogue, like actual dialogue that's been recorded. We can listen to that and exhaust it, but they've also got the kind of, the text box, you could say, like Fallout, for example. I always think of it Fallout where you have an option there to say something. I don't know if it's like multiple choice of how you're going to word it, but I think you've got the options at least to say it. So there is some interaction with characters and NPCs. Again, it's a good starting point. I expect and hope that it gets better along the way, maybe with modders having the option to kind of customize it for themselves. But yeah, it's not too bad. I think it's better than I initially thought it was going to be. And I like the idea that there is going to be some contract work. I just think it'd be nice if there was some kind of just small storyline kind of thing there just for people that want to experience that.
Rated E for everyone.
So the next one is a trailer that we got. We got the feature trailer, which basically if you're seeing the feature trailer, you know FS25 is pretty much getting close now. So that's good news that we've seen that. But we're just going to break it down. I've shown you at the start. I've got another trailer coming after this one, then we'll just break it down very briefly after. But yeah, 25 crops are going to be in the game now with rice, spinach, peas, and beans. 3 maps, which we all know about, farm in North America. That's going to be Riverbend Spring. The one in Europe is Zelonka, but from what I can tell, they have updated it in some way. I think they've just improved it to kind of match the FS25 vibe. Probably a bit more detail, fingers crossed as well, because it was lacking a little bit of detail, in my opinion, in certain areas. So hopefully that, but we haven't seen anything of it, which is not, building me with confidence there. And then we've got the East Asia map, which is called Hutan Pantai. We've all seen it. We all know of it. I don't really need to talk about it. You're going to experience it yourself soon, but they're basically saying there's 3 maps to start off with. Now, starting with base game, we're going to get 400 plus machines, all authentic and highly detailed. And yeah, some of the machines I've seen in the Fact Sheet Fridays, which you're going to see this week's Fact Sheet Fridays at the end of this video. Some look really good. There is some, that we've seen already, nothing like a big surprise, but there is some nicer old equipment that they brought in, so I'm happy with that. They've also got 150 brands coming to the game, renowned, it says, all around the world. Now, we know some of the brands like Case, John Deere, New Holland, the big ones, we're going to see a lot of. We already know about that. If I just skim past a little bit, go back a tiny touch here, if that's an even word, a word, Tiny Touch. You can see some of the brands that are there, McCormick and everything. I like the fact they've brought in a couple of new ones, Merlot, for example. I'm hoping when we get the UK map, which is definitely going to be a UK map, I'm calling it out, it is. I'm hoping we see some maybe UK brands, maybe some Irish brands coming into the game from that point. Who knows? But right now, I'm quite happy with the brands we get. There is always some that I would like. I think Ford are overdue, but because we've got New Holland, it's a bit of a, kind of conflict there. But I'm happy with the brands. So we've got 8 farm animals. We've got water buffaloes, goats, and baby animals that are new to the game this time around. And then it adds, we've got challenges galore with seasonal changes and weather events. Now, the seasonal changes I've liked. They've improved on it last year. Seasons kind of downgraded for me from the mob by realism in FS19 and before that. And then we got seasons in FS22, which was pretty much like a really dumbed down version. Let's just be honest there. It was a dumbed down version. I like the fact they've had hail in. The snow does look a bit better. I've seen a few clips of it in this video, especially. There's a section that shows like the hail dropping in. It looks really good. That's why I was most excited for that. They've obviously got water physics now in the game and stuff like that. So I think we'll see splash effects driving through. So I'm happy with some of the stuff, like the actual physics stuff and the engine stuff has improved probably the most in my opinion. The ground deformation does look good. I've seen a lot of people putting out videos of when they've tried it out. You can actually drive through straw piles and crop piles and you're going to see deformation of that itself, which is great. You're going to see build up in maybe an area of the field, like a gate entrance to a field. You're going to see it there. It is a really good thing. Yes, it fades eventually, but I saw FSG test it out in his video, and it didn't happen as quick as I thought. And I don't know the specs of the PC, but remember, if you've got a more powerful PC, that's going to be even better. So it really just depends on your system, but we'll see what happens with that. I imagine there's going to be a mod at some point that makes it expand. Like someone's going to bring out a mod, say this is for people that've got really good systems. We're going to double it, so now it doesn't, it vanishes like 2 times slower than what you'd expect. It lasts 2 times longer, basically. But I just want to show as well now there. So that clip is a really good clip for the hail. I'll just slow it down in the video for you, but it will lose some kind of detail, but I just want you to see that clip. It's very short, but it looked really good. And even that there with that twister, which I'm not bothered about at all, like I'm not. I know some people are, but I'm just not. I like the rain effect underneath there. You can see the droplets of it hitting the ground, so that stands out to me more. But look at that hail bouncing, and the snow does look pretty good. It looks better. It's got more shine to it. We'll see. I've not actually seen too much of snow in the game, but what I have noticed straight away is the way it falls. It does look like a bit more like snowflakes, and it's falling a lot softer, which I do like to see. So yeah, that's the featured trailer. Again, you've probably all seen it. I'm trying my best to fly through this. Not much else to say. A lot of that stuff we already knew. It's just if the feature trailer comes out, and I actually think Giants did a pretty decent feature trailer there. So I'm happy with it. It's just, I feel like I'm just stating the obvious now. So we're going to move on quick.
Rated E for everyone.
Right, so there you go. You've just seen the trailer for the map, Riverbend Springs. There's a lot of detail to it in different spots. It's quite a quick flowing video that just snaps each kind of like visual. I don't like it snaps through each shot that you've seen. So I really would suggest going back and pausing it in sections. Like I tried to pause it here. You only see this for like, honestly, it's like a brief moment. It's like half a second. It just flashes up and out. But there is some really good stuff about it. I think they've definitely tried to make it more real and they tried to make it more alive. I know we want to see people, maybe more tractors working out in neighbouring farms and stuff like that, but they have put a lot of detail to it, so it does look like a good map. I think it's probably my favourite map of the ones we've seen, so the two, and then obviously Zelonka we already know about. So yeah, I think this is my favourite one, the one I'm looking forward to playing on the most. I won't go back and really talk about it too much. Just you've seen it, you know about the map. It's a good trailer though. And it's building the hype. We're getting close now, and I'm excited for the game. So the next blog is called Hand Tools and Bale Wrap Consumables. So hand tools and sheds, put away your tools. So now there's a new thing coming to the game, and it is a good idea, I think. I like the idea of it, which is, now if you've got like some mods that give hoses, and you've got the chainsaw in the base game and cans of spray, and there's even a horse brush on the table over there as well. So basically, the hand tools that you'd normally get and you kind of like scroll through, they're all automatically just on your person. That's no longer going to happen. They're going to be like in fixed points. You have to pick them up and use them and then place them down again. So they're actually going to be their own independent objects. So turning tools into individual items means that you don't just buy them to have them appear in your virtual hands. When you press the appropriate button, they exist as items on the map, can be stored in tool sheds, and can be shared with your fellow farmers. So I'm hoping that we can buy them from the store, for example, put them in the back of your truck, take them home, and then you've got like a storage shed that you can place down, and then it just kind of spawns in the spot. I don't know if it's going to work like that, though, because you can see that it's got like this fixed spot. So, yeah, I don't know if you just pick it up and then place it down. I don't actually know. Fingers crossed that it works like that, but expect it with all items like the cans, the spray cans that they use for the logs to mark, and a horse brush there to clean your horse off, which I do like. I've said this before that I want to be more hands-on in the game. So if they can do that with especially with the grooming side of the horses, I think that's a good thing. But yeah, it does specify you can share them with your fellow farmers. So if you're playing multiplayer, you store them in the shed, then, no longer does everyone just have access to it. You have to go pick it up and use it. Selected forestry machines can also hold your chainsaw when you go into the woods. Simply attach it by placing it to the highlighted spot. As you can see now, I'll put a big picture up of that. You can see what it looks like before you've placed it, and then you've obviously got that slot to put it in. And then it moves on to bale wraps, but which we've learned already about, but we'll read through that. Until now, you've just baled like there's no tomorrow. Don't worry, you can still do that, but bale wrapping now consumes foil or net wraps. With that, we introduced one of our new partners in Farming Simulator 25, which is Rani Plast, and their Rani Wrap series of stretch film for bale wrapping, and it's available in various colours. I'll put some pictures up now. You can see the variation in colours and what the packs are going to look like, so you're going to have to go and purchase this. So I like that, because if I know we've got some mods of it currently, but I like the way this is done. I think it's better. It's quite... I know previously that mod has caused a lot of conflicts with other mods. My personal, experience that it has. So I like the fact this is base game now, because it doesn't matter. It's going to, each mod that's designed that might have a conflict with it, they need to take that into account now. The modder does. For us players, that just makes things easier. So I like the fact they've had it into base game. And I know you've got Rani wrap and stuff, but there is also other wraps and twines and net wrapping and all that good stuff. So I think it's a great thing that they've added this in. In addition to Rani Wrap, there are multiple others of your favourite brands to choose from. Just pick from your favourite wrapping film brand if it's available at the dealership, which it's obviously going to be. Yeah, you've got Case, New Holland, Class, you've got John Deere, plenty of them, and they look like it is twine, I think that is there. And then as we move down, now you've got the net wrap for round bales. And again, Fendt, Massey, looks like Fendt, Massey, John Deere, Lizard, and then Class. So pretty much exactly what we get in the mod right now. I bet the guy who makes that, I bet the modder who made that is a bit annoyed, because it's like they've just basically used their idea, which they technically have. Yeah, but you can see that truck's fully loaded, stocked, because that's what you're going to have to keep in mind now. If you're going to need to use this as a consumable, go purchase it, get it delivered to your farm, and then I don't know how it's going to get consumed. I think that most consumables in the game like that don't get consumed quick enough, so you buy it and it lasts forever. So I'm hoping it's a little bit more where we have to keep this in mind, not just buy it once and then it'll last for time on end. Fingers crossed anyway. So yeah, really good thing to add into the game. Glad they've got like an official partner for it as well, because that just kind of adds to it a little bit more. But there is a video that comes with this, so I'll play that now, and then we'll move on to the next part of the video. So there we go. As you saw there, it's all attached to like different pieces of kit. You can see it attached to the wrappers. You can see it attached to the built-in kind of combi wrappers that are a baler as well. I like the idea of this, and I think a lot of people probably need to keep in mind as well, because it's base game and because it's like an asset, modders can easily go in and change that. So I could make that like a UK brand of wrap, not just Ranny wrap, but like I could define that this, you know, put it as a mod on Mod Hub that we're going to get a UK brand. So for UK players, they could relate to it a little bit more. Same goes for US players. They can, you know, make their own brands. And that's the beauty of it, because it's a base game asset that can be touched by modders. Fingers crossed, it should be anyway. We can make our own from it, you know, because even the lizard one, you could just change the lizard one to something else. It doesn't have to be Ranny Wrap. You'll still have all the options in the game, but it'd be nice to add in different types. So I like that. I think it's good, you know, whereas when it's a mod on Mod Hub, we can't go and change that. You know, some modder can't then go and change that unless they get permission from that original modder. So it opens up more different variations for the modding community to go at it and give us, as players, different options. So I like it for that reason as well. And like I said, with it being base game, less conflicts with other mods, it's always going to be a good thing. And console players get to experience this now as well. It's not just PC players. Right, so the final thing in the video, it's been a lot, I know, I've tried to make it short as possible with all the information, but I think I'm not doing too bad so far for one video instead of loads throughout the week. But let's move on to the Fact Sheet Fridays. It's not been something outstanding this time. It's not going, wow, this is crazy. But we'll go through them. We'll start off with this setup, which is the New Holland T7. Pretty much standard. We've seen it multiple times. I'll let you read the information there. 240,000, 390 litres of fuel, 224 horsepowers, 31 miles an hour speed on the road. Now, I've had to change pictures here because even though it's the same picture, I was sent this one by Giants, and I just noticed it. They made a correction on the roller. So the roller before said it was like 8 meters. I think they just got confused with another tool because it said it could like plant in sugar beets and have seeds and stuff. A very strange thing, but yeah, who knows? But it is the Vaderstad Rexus 1230, which basically means it's 12.3 meters, which is probably one of the first things you look at when using a roller. 81,000 pound, 170 horsepower requirement. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too exciting about this time round. Just standard equipment that we expect to see anyway in the game. But let's move on to this Aprilia RX125. Now, I think this might have been the Aprilia that we saw in the first cinematic trailer for FS25 when it was them, when they were all about chickens and rice and on that map, in the Asian map, going through them fields and the rice paddies. And we saw this bike looking over it, this US farm that had rice, like a rice paddy. So yeah, pretty crazy. Now, it's an RX125. It's got 15 horsepower, 62 miles an hour on the road, which is crazy. It's got a work speed, though, of 7 miles an hour, which I'm not fully understanding that, because what kind of work speed is that? I don't get that. But it's only £4,000, so not bad for a motorbike, easy to buy. Probably you can get that straight away. And there is some really nice tracks on the US map, in the woodland area that you could probably go up and about. So yeah, I'll give it a go. It's not too bad. But let's get on to this. A lot of people are probably going to be using this. Forage harvesting is, well, it's probably one of the most favourite things to do in the game. A lot of people love salvaging, multiplayer work and all that stuff. So this Class Jaguar 990 TerraTrack forage harvester is probably going to be used quite a lot of people. But look at the soil stuck on the tyres there. That looks really good. But yeah, £625,000, a lot of money. You can understand why farmers hire out contractors to do this, because you can't just go and buy one of this and maintain them. But 925 horsepower as well. It's massive. Like, the horsepower in that thing is insane. It's insane. I mean, I don't even think we've got tractors up to 925. And if we have there's maybe one or two at best. But that's incredible. 925 horsepower. That's mental. 25 miles an hour, 37 litres. that'll be silage additive and then 1,500 litres of fuel, which you expect with a 925 horsepower engine. That's going to bloody burn fuel out into it. But the header is 9 meters and it can obviously do forage harvesting. So, you'd expect it if it's doing row stuff. But yeah, the header is 9 meters on that's currently attached. We're probably going to have different sizes that we can get with that. I've seen ones that go like 4, 6 and upwards and stuff and so on. But it's very expensive and a 6 mile an hour working speed on that. But I like it. I think it's a beast of a machine. So the next one is all about Case. We've got the Case Puma 260 CVX drive. Nice little tractor. I mean, I say little tractor, it's 300 horsepower, but it does look quite small for what it's got under its bonnet. 270,000, 31 miles an hour speed, 302 horsepowers under the bonnet. But the baler at the back is really cool. This is the Case RB456 HD Pro, and it does up to 150s, so it'll do 125 to 150s, 120 horsepower requirements, 65,000, not bad at all, but its working speed is 11 miles an hour, which is pretty good for a baler. I like that. I do. I actually think that's not a bad, like, medium ground baler, that you can work up to. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And then finally, we've got the APE. I think it might just be APE or APE 50. It's, an interesting little vehicle that you can bob around on. So if you want to have some fun, take a crate at a time. Not bad for a start from scratch, and when you never, a proper start from scratch, like. But it just makes me laugh. It's a tiny little thing, nimble as hell, and it's got, guess what? It's got 3 horsepower. It's a machine and a half. It's got 1 horse on each wheel. It's insane. £5,500, brand new as well, that is, which isn't bad at all. But yeah, 1 horse on each wheel, and it's going to get you places. And I think that's the best way to end the video. Get yourself one of these. They advertise it like that. 1 horse on each wheel. And crack on. Have fun. Anyway. But on that note, I am going to leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We've learnt a lot. We have. There's been a lot of stuff in this video. If I look back, we've had Townsfolk blog, which was talking about, the dialogue of the NPCs. We've had the feature trailer for Farming Simulator 25. We've had the Riverbend Springs map trailer. We've had the Hand Tools and Bale Rack Consumables blog. And then following on from that, we had that Rennie Plus kind of like brand or manufacturer kind of trailer. And yeah, we finished off on 5 tools in the fact sheets. So yeah, quite a lot of information, but I'm glad I condensed it all into one video. Hopefully it's going to be about 30 minutes long, something like that, or less, hopefully, fingers crossed when I'm editing this. But yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you found it informative. If you have, give it a thumbs up for me. That really does help me out. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I really would appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next one. See you, everybody.